Hey crystal lovers, Ashley here with the Love and Light School, and I am coming to you to share my favorite crystals for Aries season. So there are so many great stones that you can work with during this time, but I want to talk a little bit about why you might want to do that, the importance and significance of Aries season, and do a little show and tell with some of my favorite crystals. So Aries season is just about here. This astrological season might have you feeling a bit preoccupied with what others think about you. So even if you're typically really grounded, really self-assured, confident, especially like focused in more practical matters, your self-image might start to feel quite important during this season. So as we dive into Aries season, which runs from about March 21st through April 19th, our focus can shift to developing our sense of courage and inner strength so that we don't get sort of waylaid or sidetracked by those concerns that we have about what other people think. So if we build up our own self-image, our own self-confidence, it's less likely that those thoughts will have a deep impact on us. So I would love to share with you some crystals and some different practices that you can fall back on during this season for some support. So whether you want to put your best foot forward or just make a really good impression, you might come up against these sort of self-confidence struggles, self-worth issues during Aries season. It's common for them to focus, especially for water signs this time. So the right crystals, I think, can help you shift your focus to that idea of courage, of bravery, of strength, and help you address these self-worth issues head on, and call in some energetic support to help you make any necessary shifts. So working with the following Aries aligned stones can help you with the current celestial energies, get more in alignment with them. It's an excellent way to enhance the positive aspects of Aries season while balancing out its challenges. So before we dig into those crystals, I want to share a few Aries season correspondences. So as I mentioned, Aries season runs from about March 21st through April 19th. Its symbol is the ram with the big horns, so easy to spot the Aries symbol. Its ruling planet is Mars, and it's a cardinal sign, meaning that it's a time to be really outgoing this season. It's related to imagination, resourcefulness, and talent. The parts of the body that it corresponds to are pretty much just the head, so the neck, the face, the crown. And some keywords for this season are adventure, courage, and determination. There are some great gifts that come with Aries season: bravery, enthusiasm, flexibility, honesty, leadership, new beginnings, strength, and willpower. There are also some challenges that can come up this season: arrogance, fiery emotions, impulsiveness, jealousy, and rashness. So this is a great time for new beginnings and self-discovery to help you build some momentum, which I think is really important. And Aries season can motivate you to develop a deep trust in yourself because of that, having to sort of overcome sometimes a little bit of our wavering, sometimes wavering faith in ourselves, right? Or that lack of confidence or lack of self-worth. It helps you really trust yourself and decide to just boldly chase your biggest goals, dreams, visions for yourself, even if others can't see the results, right? Even if others can't see where you're headed with something. As long as you have some clarity about it, this is a great time to sort of go for it. Your faith in yourself is often fueled by your inner fire, and being that Aries is correspondent to the fire element, this can give you a good sense of direction and help you feel a little bit more resilient when you come up against challenges, which is one of the reasons why this is a great time to sort of put those fears aside and go forward chasing your dreams. Aries season also helps you learn to embrace your identity and your role as sort of a protector and a co-creator with the universe. So your adventurous spirit, your connection to your creativity and your passion will really help serve you as you take the next steps on your path and as you sort of take charge of your own life. So during Aries season, it's really helpful to select crystals that amplify courage and personal power and confidence. And it's important to note here that zodiac crystals, although they do have some overlap, are a little bit different than birthstones. If you want to learn more about that, I've actually linked to a classic blog post I wrote about this topic in this week's blog, all about Aries season, and you can find the link for that here in the video description or in the comments. So you can work with the following crystals to enhance or balance the energies of Aries season. So whether you're enhancing those positive aspects, those gifts of this season, or you're addressing some of the challenges of this season by balancing out the difficult energetic aspects of Aries, these stones can be really, really helpful for your celestial journey ahead. So first we have Botswana agate, and I really love the apricot Botswana agate for Aries season. It is a beautiful, vibrant orange color, comes from Botswana in Africa. And you'll find Botswana agate in a variety of colors: lavender, gray, pink, brown. But this vibrant orange or apricot color is one of my favorites for bringing out that courage and that bravery and also flexibility. So just like sort of the folds of the agate sort of go in all directions, they twist and change. This is a stone that reminds you to have flexibility as you are pursuing your path, sort of figuring out where your dreams are taking you, where your vision is taking you. And next I have fire agate. This is honestly great for working with any fire sign energies. So any fire sign season, this would be just great. But here you can see let's see if I can get the camera to focus. There we go. You can see that fire agate has this natural fire inside of it. And ooh, that's so pretty. When it's rough, it looks just like this, but you polish it up and you find those little pockets of iridescent chatoyancy, and it is so cool. So fire agate is a great companion for, again, helping instill that fire element energy, bringing in all of those qualities of action, of decisiveness, of movement, pursuing passions, connection to like the things that really are meaningful to you and really drive you forward. So if you decide to take a big leap and go forward with something big, some big goal chasing, dream chasing during Aries season, fire agate makes a great companion for that. There's also amber, and I have a piece of Baltic amber here. Amber comes in lots of different colors. Baltic amber is some of the most revered. Ancient people thought it was fossilized sunlight that had come down and actually been trapped in stone. And you can see why that is, right? It's so vibrant. It has such a charming color and energy. Sorry, I was hoping that would focus a little bit better so you can see. And sometimes the little drops inside, ooh, look at that. There's little fissures from things that naturally get trapped inside of the amber when it's forming, maybe a little bit of moisture, maybe a bit of plant material, something like that. They create these little internal fissures and fractures that create these beautiful rainbows and little sparkles. And this just reminds us to shine our own light. So as we're walking our path, reminding us what's really, really important, being authentic, sharing of ourselves, all that stuff. So this is a great companion for Aries season. There's also bloodstone. We have to remember Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Mars can be a little bit filled with strife, with dissent, things like that. And having something that is really about courage, bravery, and protection during this season can be really useful. So here I just have a rough bloodstone. This one is from India. And you can see it's deep green with little splashes of red on the surface. This one also has a bit of white, but it's a great protector. So if you need a little shielding, if you need to sort of protect your energy, bloodstone can be really useful. It also helps keep you grounded, which during times of change, working through things, it can be helpful always just to be connected and grounded. There's also carnelian, and here I have a carnelian palm stone from Madagascar. This one is a nice long shape. I love the way it sort of fits in my hand. Carnelian is a great motivator. So if you've found yourself sort of lacking energy, motivation, and you want to make big changes, you're ready to, chase that dream, go forward with something big, start a new project, carnelian can help you stay the course. So if you're like me and you can, sometimes get really excited about something and then you lose steam, carnelian helps you see it through to completion. So if that's a concern or a worry that you have, definitely work with some carnelian this Aries season. There's also citrine, and I have this beautiful abundance formation citrine from the DR Congo, and this one actually has a small phantom inside. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Let's see if I can get it to reset its focus here. There's a little phantom inside, but look at the formation there, how all these little crystals grow around the central stone. And this is a natural citrine. So most of the citrine on the market is heat treated amethyst. Most of us know this. It's sort of that amber color. Natural citrine is going to be a little bit more of a smoky gold most of the time, although it can range in color quite a bit. But a natural citrine crystal, so great for self-confidence, so great for personal empowerment, self-worth. So if that's something that you're struggling with right now, you need that little pick-me-up, citrine can be really useful. On the flip side, we sometimes have instances during Aries season where we're feeling a little arrogant. So it can be like one extreme or the other. If you're lacking confidence, citrine, a great choice. If you're sort of struggling with some arrogance, you need to, work on that. Maybe some grounding bloodstone, or our next stone, which is diamond. And you can work with yellow diamond or white diamond. I have a tiny little diamond here. This is not a gem quality diamond. I probably won't be able to show it to you super well, but it's in the bottom of this little, bottle. And let's see if I can get it to focus on the bottle instead of on my hand. It's just gonna sit right in this. Nope, it's too tiny. It's so tiny it won't focus. It's like a little crumb of a stone in there, but you can see there it is. And if you have diamond jewelry, don't hesitate to work with that during the season, especially if you need to sort of be brought back down a little bit more grounded. We have to remember diamonds started out as, just loose carbon molecules, formed diamonds over lots of intense heat and pressure. That carbon is really, really grounding still. So diamond, super helpful. And then we have a red Pyrope Garnet, and this is one of my favorite things I'm going to show you today. I have a absolutely massive garnet. You do not have to work with a large garnet, but this one sits on my ancestor altar and I love it. This is Pyrope Garnet. It's sometimes called black cherry garnet because it's so deep dark red. But if anything sort of encapsulates the energy of Aries and Aries season, I feel like a red garnet is it. So this is one of my favorite stones for this season because garnet also has this historical connection, like does bloodstone, with courage, with bravery, with helping us take that sort of leap of faith and go forward to do new projects, do new things. It's amazing. So I love some garnet for Aries season. There's also Heliodor, which is the golden variety of beryl. So it's sort of a cousin to aquamarine. Here I have a small Heliodor crystal. Oops. Sorry, I keep losing my, there we go, focus. I plugged in the fancy camera so you could see these crystals a little bit better. So Heliodor, so useful again for shining out that authentic part of yourself. It's literally named for the sun, so it's great for this time of year. Aries season, at least here in the northern hemisphere, it comes during spring, and so we have this, abundance of new, fresh energy, the ability to shine forth, do new things, sort of share your light with the world. That's what this is really all about. There's also Mookaite Jasper, which comes from Australia. See, we have someone here from Australia. So this is one of my favorite stones for creativity and creative problem solving. So Mookaite has this beautiful range of color. It's sort of burgundy and plum and lilac, gold and cream. Sometimes you'll see a little bit more red in here, but I love all these warm colors. It's super, super earthy and reminds us to stay rooted into the things that matter. It's also that great stone for creativity and creative problem solving. It's excellent for artists as well. So if you need to work on your self-expression through art, through something new that you're creating, Mookaite Jasper is really useful. There's also red jasper, which is, I think, an often overlooked stone. It's such a good one for grounding. It gets its color from iron molecules, so that iron is going to be really heavy, really grounding. So it helps us focus on the things that are most important during this season. If you feel pulled in a lot of different directions and you need to sort of regather your energy before you can move forward, make a decision, red jasper is an excellent stone to work with. There's also lava rock. So lava rock used to be reserved more for landscape material, right? People would put it out in their garden beds, just like they use that white marble sort of stone filler. But with the popularity of essential oils a few years ago, came lots of options for lava rock jewelry because it's so porous. It made a good scent diffuser for essential oils. So you can find lava rock bracelets and things like that pretty easily now. This is actually a bead from a bracelet like that. It's just a nice large bead, and it has a high polish on it. I like the feeling of it. It's nice and smooth, but it really, again, it's lava rock, so it helps you tap into that fiery energy, right? Volcanic in origin, so helps us connect with that fire element energy of Aries. There's also mahogany obsidian. Obsidian is another stone sort of born of the fire. It's a natural volcanic glass. And here we have the mahogany variety, which has browns, like a reddish brown, and black sort of mixed together. This is one of my favorite types of obsidian, and one that I think a lot of people overlook. It really helps you sort of take that moment, that pause that you need to sometimes tune in and listen to yourself, listen to how you're being guided. So if you are making those big changes, those big shifts in direction in your life, deciding to really go for a big goal, start a new project, but you need to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, or you need to make sure that you're tuned into, where you see the outcomes going, what you sort of want to create. Mahogany obsidian can be really helpful for taking that moment to pause and tune in. There's also pyrite, and I decided to grab a pyrite sun to show you. So this is a type of concretion of pyrite, and this comes from Illinois in the United States. And look at that, it makes this sort of flat disc, and this is a natural formation. Let's see if I can get a tree focus again, sorry about that. It's a natural formation, and you can see all those little grooves. They sort of start at this very center point and then they radiate outward, just like the rays of the sun. So if you need that boost of self-confidence, inner strength, pyrite, especially a pyrite sun, can be fantastic. You can just sort of hold it over your heart, focus on, thinking about your special gifts, your unique gifts, the energy that you bring to a situation, how you make the world a better place, how you can share your gifts and be of service with your community, in your family. This is a great crystal to help you be reminded of your own inner power. There's also clear quartz, and I grabbed this beautifully faceted Brazilian clear quartz crystal. It's so brilliant. It's almost diamond like with its clarity, with its reflection. And so, if you need that time during Aries season to reflect on your strengths, your gifts, if you're feeling a little self conscious, clear quartz can be a great reminder of sort of what you have to share with the world, of what you bring into a given situation. Then there's a combination of these two. So we just talked about pyrite and we talked about quartz, but there is actually a type of quartz that has inclusions of golden pyrite. And it's pretty unusual, pretty uncommon. But can you see the pyrite inside the quartz? It's actually trapped in there. There are tiny little pyrite octahedrons in here. And this is natural. I will tell you, this is one of the stones that is starting to be faked a little bit. So a lot of times you'll see it in like spheres or polished domes, and it has sort of a grainy, sandy looking matrix that you'll often see on the outside, covering about half or a third of the stone. And they'll actually put little pyrite octahedrons into that matrix, and then they'll put some glass or something like that on top and polish it and sell it as an included quartz crystal. You see this a lot with like garden quartz. I've seen some that have azurite inside of them, azurite and malachite. So you do need to be careful because this is faked. But if you get this material, it usually comes from Brazil, and I think there's one place in Africa where it comes from also, if I'm remembering correctly. But it is the coolest stone because you have that energy of the pyrite, that radiance, that, ability to shine forth, your confidence, amplified by the clear quartz, because quartz is such a great amplifier. So you get that sort of combination and that amplification because of the pairing. So if you can find a piece of this, it's a very, very cool stone, and it's getting harder to get. There's also golden rutilated quartz, which I think acts somewhat similarly to the pyrite included quartz. So here's a piece with lots of golden rutiles. And this is also called angel hair quartz or Venus hair quartz because look, they look like little strands of beautiful golden hair. And this is really great for breaking up stagnant energy. So if there's something that's really been holding you back from stepping into your passion, your dreams, that is like an internal limiting belief or something that's coming internally rather than externally, this can be a really useful stone. A lot of times there are external things that are absolutely beyond our control that prevent us from reaching our goals or our dreams. This isn't really necessarily to address those things. It's about the inner work that we need to do sometimes. So if you can identify specifically there's something internal, something within you that's been holding you back, this can be a great stone for helping to break that energy up and release it. So this is really, really useful. There's also smoky quartz. I love smoky quartz. So if you need to address any ego stuff, any feelings of arrogance, because it's natural. Like I said, some folks struggle with more of the lack of self-confidence during Aries season. Other folks, especially us fire signs, we might have an inflated sense of self-importance or ego, that kind of thing. And so smoky quartz reminds us to sort of bring it back down, to earth, bring it back down a little bit, ground out some of that excess energy, and channel it in a really productive way. So rather than getting really caught up in that sort of trap of arrogance and that sort of thing, bring it back down and do something really useful with that energy. Be of service, be kind, share our gifts in a way that's meaningful or helpful for other people. Then we have rhodochrosite, and I think rhodochrosite just sort of helps us soften some of the edges of Aries season because Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, which is, has some great gifts, but also brings a lot of challenges like strife and chaos and discord and arguments, that sort of thing. Having a piece of rhodochrosite with you during this season to remind you to be rooted in empathy and compassion is definitely beneficial. This piece is polished on the front surface, and then the outside is actually covered with all these little rosettes. So rhodochrosite gets its name with that prefix rhodo, not just referring to pink, but referring to rose, meaning these little rosettes that it can form. It's a very, very beautiful stone. This one is from Argentina. Then there is ruby, which is the red variety of corundum. And here I have a beautiful natural ruby crystal. This one's from Myanmar. And you can see it's really shiny. It has a very lustrous surface. And this is like a natural, complete crystal. I love ruby for helping fuel your passion. So if there's something you are really excited about, something that you can't wait to dig into, something that just fills you up with that feeling of really being alive, really being rooted into something special and meaningful. Ruby is such a great companion because it helps you sort of take that to the next level. It helps you really stay connected with that uplifting feeling that you get from just doing something that's joyful. So if you need to bring a little joy in this season, ruby is excellent. There's also red spinel. This is a red spinel in matrix palm stone from India. And you can see that red spinel. It is really easy to mistake this for ruby. I have done it. But red spinel helps us stay really balanced. It forms these beautiful octahedral crystals. And so it reminds us to just sort of be mindful of our energy, not get off balance, because it's so easy to get sort of pulled in one direction or the other, and then we feel a little off kilter. So just reminding you to sort of keep everything in check, be mindful of where your energy is going, how you're expending it, and keep it focused on the things that matter. And then finally, my last favorite here is vanadinite, and this piece is from Morocco. Oh, I love the way these little crystals grow together. This is on a matrix of barite, which is buried sort of deep inside the core of this little cluster. But this is a great fire element crystal, and it really helps fuel or stoke that creative fire. So if I had to pick just 3 crystals for Aries season that would be my top 3 I'd recommend, I would say definitely lava rock. Lava rock aligns so well with the energy of Aries season. It provides a really good boost of self-confidence, especially if you're feeling a little self-conscious in group settings or in just an unfamiliar setting or situation. It helps you sort of feel comfortable in your own skin. It's really, really grounding, and it helps you draw on your inner strength using the energy of that fire element to take control of any internal thoughts that might be impacting your sense of self-worth. Then my second has got to be the red Pyrope Garnet, one of my favorites. It's known again for its association with courage and bravery. So if you've been letting your focus get sort of preoccupied with how you compare to others, how you stack up against others, rather than focusing on your own strengths and gifts, reach for some Pyrope Garnet to help you ditch those really unproductive comparisons. because I think it's natural for us to compare ourselves to someone that we know or admire, to inspire us, to more greatness, that sort of thing. But if these thoughts become unhelpful, like we think, oh, look at what they've been able to do and I haven't been able to do that, or look how far along they are and I'm just getting started, like sometimes that can stop us rather than inspiring us. And if your thoughts have sort of shifted into that unhelpful space, red pyrope garnet can just encourage you to be brave and authentic and just be yourself. That's what's really important. And then finally, my third recommendation, top recommendation, is ruby. So this is the red variety of corundum. It's filled with fiery energy, helps us tap into our passion. It can also help us overcome some mindset blocks that keep us from recognizing our true self-worth. It's especially useful for people who are in positions of leadership, particularly people who've been sort of thrust into the spotlight unwillingly. You will find that that starts to happen as we enter Aries season. Other people may recognize your gifts, and if you're lacking that sort of courage or bravery that you need, ruby can be really useful. It also helps you overcome negative self-thinking, especially thoughts like not being good enough, so that you can shine your inner light with more confidence and ease. So I also mentioned Aries' ruling planet, Mars, several times, and I just wanted to clarify this. So each sign of the zodiac is represented or ruled by a specific planet. And so the ruling planet is said to have a particular influence over that sign, that zodiac house, that aspect of your life, whatever you're referring to. So Mars, being the ruling planet of Aries, has a big deal of influence over us during Aries season. So in ancient times, Mars was regarded as a bringer of war and strife, and was sometimes thought of as the most powerful planet, the most influential planet. Mars is associated with that really fiery energy, with aggression, with discord, war, and strife, but it also has some really positive attributes, is associated with passion and energy, strength, action, decisiveness, ambition, problem solving skills, leadership, and all of these can be really, really beneficial and helpful. So to connect with the energy of Mars, you can use a lot of the stones that I already covered for Aries season: fire agate, bloodstone, carnelian, red jasper, and ruby, and with the addition of hematite. So this is an iron-based stone. This piece is from Brazil and has a bit of some shimmer and sheen to it. And hematite, super, super grounding. It has that iron base, and that is a heavy metal. It's a metal, so it's really like super weighty, gets us into our body. But also, hematite is a really interesting stone. Its streak, meaning the color that it leaves when it's rubbed against a surface, usually like a white porcelain tile, is red. So it's that color of fire, that color of Mars, the color of blood. It is something that is known for stimulating that energy, that passion, that excitement. And so this is a great crystal for tapping into those positive attributes of Mars and also balancing out some of those negative attributes like that discord and strife, especially when you pair it with your rhodochrosite for empathy and compassion. So over on this week's blog post, and I have an accompanying podcast for you, I have an Aries season crystal ritual that you can do. All you need for it is a fireproof container, a little piece of paper, a pen or a pencil, some matches or a lighter, and one of these Aries season crystals. I really recommend ruby for this little ritual. And this is all about releasing negative self-talk and removing those unhelpful thoughts and filling ourselves back up with positive energy, reframing our thoughts, rewriting our stories. It's so useful. If you want the step-by-step for this little mini ritual, head over to the link that I have posted in the video description here. I've also pinned it to the comments to walk through that ritual step by step. It's super quick and easy, but something that is so beneficial. And I've also included a few journal questions that you can reflect on after you do this little ritual, as well as a 4-card spread for Aries season. So if you want some extra guidance, you can work with your favorite tarot or oracle spread, and all of that is over in the blog post. I've also talked a little bit about crystals for your big 3 in astrology, so your sun sign, moon sign, and rising sign, and how Aries season sort of affects those, and a great little exercise that you can do to tap into the energy of your big 3 using crystals. And there's even a little video walkthrough for that over on this week's blog. So if you enjoyed this, if you want to learn more, if you want to do that little ritual, check out that card spread, work with your big 3 during Aries season, head over to loveandlightschool.com/blog or click the link in the video description for more information. I hope that this was a fun look at Aries season crystals, that it will inspire you to find new ways to connect with your crystals during Aries season. And I can't wait for you to get started with them. So head over to the website, check out all the great things that you can do with these crystals to put them into your practice this Aries season. Until I see you again, crystal blessings.